Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be our video number 30. So today we are going to be continuing talking about the verbs that we started on the last video. And just a little quick review. The last video we spoke about the 6 different forms that the verbs fall in. What does that mean? That means, okay, that they have been categorized into 6 different, I guess, departments or babs or categories. So, like if you have a certain verb, like let's say nasara, you need to know which bab it's going to fall into. So we have the basic babs, like we talked about, nasara yansuru. We have daraba yadribu. Then we had fataha yaftahu. We had karuma yakrumu, and we had sami'a yasma'u, and then the last one we had hasiba yahsibu. So right now I just gave you the madi and the mudari of these two verbs. And if you'd noticed, I don't know if you caught it, but when I give you the mudari version of it, uh, the the harakat we talked about yesterday, harakat meaning the vowel signs. Sometimes it goes on top, sometimes it's in the bottom, sometimes it's with the dhamma. So you have to like pay attention to those when we talk about it. So like for example, we had nasara yansuru, and then we had daraba yadribu. So then the ra, the ain kalima gets a kasra. Or we have fataha yaftahu. So there's a ta and there's a fatha on top of it. And then we had karuma yakrumu. So these are things that inshallah as we go forward and practice, we will get it. It'll become a lot easier. But this was just a review. The last class we went over the category of fataha yaftahu. So today, inshallah, we're going to continue with that, but not with the same bab, not same category. We're going to move on to the next category, and which is nasara yansuru, and all the other verbs that fall in this pattern that are repeated in the Quran. So right now our whole focus is just things that are repeated in the Quran, the verbs, the words, and everything that we're focusing on right now. All right, so let's just go ahead and start. I'm going to set it up like we did the last time. We had فعل. Let me see if I can fit everything. يفعل. And then we had if. Oops. I believe it's if. Okay. Right here, we're gonna change this. This is correct, but it's no. We have fa'ala yaf'ulu, yaf. This becomes ulu. And then this becomes uf'ul. I'm going to write this a little bit lower so we have space. Uf'ul. And then we have fa'il. And then we have fa'il. Okay, let's see if I can move this camera a little bit up. You guys can see this. Okay. There, hopefully this should. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and separate this and give our lines so we know what's going on here. If you're kind of new here, it's just like what's going on. We did this yesterday. So we're trying to put these verbs in these forms and create basically five different words from this one word that we're going to be talking about, which is the verb. All right. So the first one we have is, of course, we talked about it. This pattern is also called this whole section. It falls under a nasara yansuru, a bab nasara yansuru. Okay, so the first one we have obviously is going to be the word nasara. Nasara yansuru yansuru yansuru. So here we have to follow this pattern. This is uf'ul. So yansuru becomes unsur. This takes a sukun. And then fa'il is the same. So we have the first letter and then attached with the alif. So this becomes na sir. And then the actual fa'il verb would be nasr. Yes, we can see everything. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so let's give the meaning. What does this mean? Nasara is to help. Now, this is the fail, the actual fail, meaning what does it mean to help? And then, so nasara means he helped. This because this is the maldi, this is past tense. Yansuru, this is mudari. For now, let's see, because we're still pretty new. Let's write these up here. Mudari. And then this is the amr, which is the command. And this is present tense. This is past tense. Fa'il is the doer, the person actually doing the acting of helping. And then fa'il, this is the actual verb. All right, so let's continue here. So nasara means he helped. Yansuru, he helps. All right, so unsur, this is the command. So it tells whoever, it says help. Nasir is the one who's actually doing the helping. The one who is doing. Now, if we've heard a lot of people's name is Nasir. So remember yesterday I was telling you guys that from this section, we have a lot of names that we're very familiar with that we hear on a daily basis. And so this would be Nasir. So now you know that Nasir is actually, you now understand the meaning of Nasir. Means, means this is a person who helps. All right, so we did Nasara yansuru. So this is the pattern. The one I have up here, so it's fa'ala nasara. So this is the same pattern, just for repetition. So we talked about fa'ala, meaning, remember we talked about yesterday, so fa this is the fa kalima, the ain kalima, and then the lam kalima. Or it means the first radical, second radical, third radical. Same thing here. You can describe it that way as noon for fa kalima, sa is for the ain kalima, and ra is for the lam kalima. In the beginning, that might be a little bit confusing for you. You might be like, well, I don't know if this is noon, but that's fa. How is this fa kalima? And okay, well, it's because this is the pattern that we put on top of this. So this is the template that we plugged all of these verbs into it, and they have to follow the same exact pattern. So here is fata, fata, fata. And then fa'ala yaf'ulu. So this pattern now it has to become yanqusuru, right? So it has to follow the same pattern that is written up here. And the command form is uf'ul. And then this has to follow the same pattern. It has to sound the same. Uf'ul. Unsur. See, it has the same pattern. Although the letters are different, it's a different word, but it has to follow the same pattern. It has to follow the same exact the harakat where the vowels are. And then these two didn't change. So fa'il, this takes an alif, an extra alif is added. So because our basic root is nun, sad, and ra. So here nasir is alif is added, so it becomes nasir, the one who is doing the acting of helping. All right, so let's put a line here so we can move on to our next word. Next word we have is balagha. All right, so balagha. Now we're going to follow the same pattern as this. So this should be yab lu o yab lu. Oops, I forgot the dot. Yablughu. Okay, and then amr. So this becomes ublugh. Ublugh, and then so our root letters ba, lam, and ghain. So this we have to add alif to the ba. Ba ligh. And then we have the actual. So in this case, it changes a little bit. It becomes blugh. Remember, we kind of mentioned this yesterday. I said sometimes we did for the word dhahaba. When we came to the actual fa'il, it was zihab instead of dhahab. So here again, it changes a little bit. So this becomes bulugh, meaning that. So, okay, so let's give the meaning to everything, inshallah. So this means to reach. Okay. Also means to convey. All right, so balagha, this is past tense, means he reached or he conveyed. So depending on, remember, all these words, they have multiple meanings, but we're working on the basic meanings that's mostly common. Yablughu, meaning that he reached, so he's reaching. Or he reaches, or he conveys. All that goes here. Ublugh, meaning to convey. Baligh this is the one. The one who reaches or the one who conveys. So this is the doer of the verb. All right, we did this one, and excuse me, I think we have space for one more. Hopefully now, inshallah, I think you guys should be able to do a little bit on your own. If you just, it becomes easy because if you follow the same pattern, then you can change the words according to what's here. Then it becomes a lot easier that way. All right, so the next word we have is taraka. Next word we have is taraka. Taraka. Taraka yatruku. Yatruku. And then it becomes utruk. Utruk. This should be utruk. And then فاعل تارك. تارك. And then the actual فعل is ترك. Okay, so let's give the meaning. Tark means to leave something. Let's see. Yeah, you guys can see it. To leave. This means like you know, when you just leave something behind, like you just forget about it. You're like, okay, whatever. It's just I'm gonna leave it. You know, so it means like tark, like you just forget about it. You're just gonna leave it. All right, and Tariq is the actual the one who's doing it, the action. So for all of these, we're just gonna put the one. So then we should know that the one is doing the actual acting of leaving. And then uturuk means leave. Yatruku means he leaves. And then taraka means he left. And then also means taraka, like he left it as is, or he left it behind, and he forgot about it, or he said forget about it. You know, so it's that kind of a word. It doesn't actually mean to actually leave, like leave the building or anything like that. So it's just something that you just like forget about it, like we say, you know, leave it alone. You know, so it's kind of like the same thing. All right, inshallah, I think this is all we can fit it here. And if you guys want to go ahead and write this down for your own notes and whatnot, and then we'll continue after I clean the board. Okay, next word we have is hashara. Hashara. And then we're going to put it in this pattern. This is bab nasara yansuru. So this is hashara yahshuru. Yahshuru. And then it becomes uhshur. Uhshur. And then fa'il becomes hashir. And then the actual fa'il is hashr. Okay, so let's give the meaning. Hashr means to gather. Now, gather, it means to collect, to bring everything in one place. So all of that means here. Now, hashr, of course, this means the one who is doing the action, the one who is doing the gathering. So his name, or sorry, not his name. Well, that person becomes hashr. Uhshur means to gather. This is a command. I always put a little exclamation mark so we know that it's a gather is a command. Yahshuru, he gathers. And then hashara is past tense, he gathered. Okay, or he collected. Okay, so we got this one. Hashara, yahshuru, uhshur, hashir, and then hashar. All right. And please always keep in mind that these words that we're working on are the words that are repeated in the Quran again and again in some way or form. It's not always going to be on the same, maybe like hashara. It's not always going to show up that way. Sometimes you will read it in this form. Sometimes you're going to read it in like this form. Sometimes like this or like this, depending. But so our goal is to inshallah understand and study the actual verb, which is the 3 root letter verb. And then we're creating all of these other ones from that 3 letter root verb. And then, but then it doesn't stop here, and then it goes on. So when we are actually reciting in the Quran, you will come across the basic root of this, but it's in it will be like a compounded word. It has like a lot of other letters to it. Maybe it's in the front, maybe it's at the end. But the goal is to understand, recognize the basic 3 root letter, and then from there, then you can. The second step is to go back and say, figure out like what is this plural? Is this singular? Is this why is this? It's written the way it's written, because this would be like the basic normal standard how this verb shows. But then when it goes through changes, and that's where we have to come in and think and say, okay, why it's written like this. You have to go back and read the ayah and then figure out the ayah as to what it's talking about. Is it talking about a bunch of people? Is it talking about 2 people? Is it talking about the heavens and the earth? Is it talking about what is it talking about? Why is the word showing up this way? Okay. All right. So the next word we have is hakama. Hakama. Yahkumu. Yahkumu. And then command is uhkum. Uhkum. And then fa'il is hakim. And then fa'il is hukm. Okay. Now let's give the meaning. Means to judge or to rule. And also the word hikmah comes from here, which means wisdom. So, we should hope that the one who is the hakim should have the hikmah to judge between right and wrong and all of that. So, but that's besides the point. But anyway, so hukum is to judge, to rule. And I'm sure there are other meanings to it as well. So hakim is the one who does that, the one who is making the the judge or the decisions, or the ruling. احكم, meaning to judge or rule. يحكم, he judges, and then this is past tense, he judged. All right, we got space for one more. Next word we have is kharaja. Kharaja. يخرج. يخرج. أخرج. Another reason, as one of the reasons I don't like to use these big markers, because when you write, it makes a lot of this funny, squeaky sound. I don't know. Some people may not like that. They might find that annoying, but I'm sorry if it's bothering you. Okay, and then أخرج, and then خارج. I try not to squeeze it too much where the sound comes out, but sometimes you can't help it. Okay, so خرج, يخرج, أخرج, خارج, and then خروج is the verb. خروج. All right, so what does it mean? Is to come out, to leave, to exit. Okay, let me see if I want to put all of it here. To come out, exit, leave. So again, multiple meanings for this word. خارج is some of these meaning the fa'il. It means the one who is doing, is the actual person who is doing the act of whatever the verb is. And then sometimes the word, it also means like another thing, like kharij means something that is like an outside thing, right? So it's unfamiliar, something that is kharij, meaning that you're not familiar with. It's outside. So this is kharij, means also the one who's doing the act of leaving, but it also means something that it is outside or unfamiliar, things like that. Ukhruj, of course, means this is command, leave or exit. Yakhruju, he leaves or exits. And then kharaja, he left or he exited or he came out. So there, again, multiple meanings depending on the context of which is gonna fit properly. All right, inshallah, we still have a few other verbs, so let's just clean the board and I'll be right back. Next word we have is khalada. Khalada. Yakhludu. Yakhludu. Ukhlud. And then it's Khalid. How many people do we know that have a friend named Khalid? And then the fi'l becomes khulud. All right, khulud. So this means to live forever. Khulud. It means to live forever. So now we go back. Khalid is the one who lives forever. Ukhlud means live forever. Yakhludu, he lives forever. And then he lived. Okay, of course, no one lives forever, but this is sometimes could be used in different contexts. So we have to please keep that in mind. All right, so khalada, yakhludu, ukhlud, khalid, and then khulud. This means to live forever, and of course, we read this in the Quran many, many, many times. Khalidina fiha, meaning that they live in there forever, the end of time. So khalidina fiha, fiha goes back to where? To Jannah, where everybody will live there after everything is done. The checks and balances basically is done. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declares you that, okay, now everything is good, then you go to Jannah. And may Allah forgive us, and then it could be the opposite, and then people could go to hell and khalidina fiha, and then they could live there forever as well. So this is the word. Next word is khalaqa. Khalaqa. Yakhluqu. Yakhluqu. Then it becomes ukhluq. Ukhluq. And then this is khaliq. And then khalq is the fi'l. Okay. To create, khalq is to create out of nothing. Like in the case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, خلق الله السماوات والأرض. There it is. خلق Allah, meaning Allah created the heavens and the earth from nothing. Okay. Khaliq, it's the one who does the action of creating. So in this case, one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Khaliq, because he is the one who creates. Ukhluq is meaning create. It's command. Sorry. And then yakhluqu, he creates. And then khalaqa, he created. Okay. And of course we can this could also apply to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he is al-Khalid. He's eternal. Okay. Next word is dakhala. Dakhala. Yadkhulu. Yadkhulu. Udkhul. Udkhul. Dakhil. And then this also changes. on this pattern, khulud, and it changes to dukhul. Dukhul. Okay, dukhul is to enter. To enter. Dakhil is the act of entering, to enter, meaning the one who enters. Udkhul, this is command, enter. Yadkhulu, he enters. And then dakhala, he entered. That's past tense. All right, so we have khalada, yakhludu, ukhlud, khalid, and khulud. And then khalaqa, yakhluqu, ukhluq, khaliq, khalq. And dakhala, yadkhulu, udkhul, dakhil, and dukhul. All right, we'll be back with the clean board. Next word we have is ذكر. ذكر. يذكر. يذكر. أذكر. This is kaf. أذكر. ذاكر. And then الذكر is the فعل. Okay. Quickly, so we give the meaning. ذكر. The basic meaning is to remember. Remember. Zakir is the one who is doing the action of remembering. Udhkur, remember. Yadhkuru, he remembers. He, ذكر, he remembered. Okay. ذكر, يذكر, أذكر, ذاكر, and then ذكر. Next word we have is رزق. رزق. يرزق. يرزق. أرزق. أرزق. And then فاعل is رازق. رازق. And then the فاعل is رزق. رزق. That's a سكون. Now رزق here, it just means to provide. But it has more meaning. So rizq, it also means your sustenance, to sustain. To provide, to sustain, to it's like to give. So a raziq is the one who was doing the action, but also raziq is also ar-raziq would be the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he is the one who is providing for everything, heavens and earth. So raziq, the one who provides. The one who provides. Urzuq, this is command, so means to provide. And then yarzuqu, he provides, and then past tense, he provided. All right. I'm going a little bit faster because now it's just pretty much it's repetition. So I'm just doing as many of the verbs we have here on because that's we're focusing on that. Otherwise, you could be doing this on your own. So, but then you're probably wondering, how do I know which verb is going to fall in the Nasara family, which one's going to fall in the Fataha family, which one, so it's all of that. But inshallah, so that's why I'm doing all of the verbs that we have. So hopefully you guys are taking notes because then that way you can look back as you're reciting the Quran. You can always have your notes next to you, and then when you come across a word that sounds familiar to you, and they're like, "Oh, okay, let me see," then you can flip back and figure out, okay, this word we studied, and this it means this. Let me see what form it is, and what does it mean. So that's another. Trust me, when you do this, these things will get stuck in your head instead of just listening to a translation that someone will tell you. But when you put that extra effort, that extra work that you're actually doing, you're searching for it, you're looking at your notes, you're writing notes, and then you find it and you try to match it, and you're like, oh, okay, this is what this means. Now, then that really it gets locked into your brain, and then you remember the next time you will remember the whole process that, oh yeah, I looked for it here and I looked for it there and I found it, and this is what it means. So that's another way for your notes to become very, very helpful, inshallah. Next word is sajada. Sajada. Yasjudu. Yes. Do. And then it's usjud. And then it becomes sajid. Sajid. And then sujud. Oh, sorry. Sujud. Okay. And I'm sure we're all familiar with what is sujud is to prostrate, to bow down. Okay, so sajid is the one who is doing the bowing, the one who is doing the action. Usjud means to prostrate, command. Yasjudu, he prostrates. Or, he bows down. And then sajada, the past tense is he prostrated. Prostrated. Okay. All right, so let's quickly read, inshallah. ذكر يذكر أذكر ذاكر, and then ذكر. رزق يرزق أرزق رازق رزق. سجد يسجد أسجد ساجد, and then sujud. All right. Next word is sha'ara. شعر. يشعر. يشعر. أشعر. أشعر. شاعر. And then The فعل is شعور. شعور. Okay. All right. So let's give the meaning here. Is to perceive, understand. Again, a lot of meanings go here. To perceive, to understand, to be aware. Okay. Sha'ir, of course, is the one who is doing the action. Ush'ur, meaning to understand. It's a command. Yash'uru, he understands. And then past tense, he understood. Okay. Sha'ara, yash'uru, ush'ur, sha'ir, and then shu'ur. If you guys notice, the last one, the fa'il, on a few of the words that we did so far, it falls on the same pattern again. The same pattern meaning it's the same sound. Like we did sujud, shu'ur, and then we did another one. Where is it? Khuruj, khulud, dukhul. You see how they're all sounding the same because they all fall on the same pattern for the verb. All right. Next one we have is shakara. Shakara, yashkuru, yashkuru, ushkur, ushkur, and then it becomes shakir. Shakir, and then it becomes shukur. And then, of course, shukur means to be thankful, to be grateful. Grateful, to be thankful. And then shakir is the one who is thankful. Ushkur, this is fi'l amr, this is for command. Meaning be thankful. Yashkuru means he thanks or he is thankful. And then shakara means he was thankful. Or he was grateful, or, so all of these meanings would apply here again. And the other word we have is swadaqa. Swadaqa. Yasduqu. Yasduqu. And then usduq. And then becomes sadiq. And then it becomes sidq. Okay. Now sidq means to be true, to be truthful, to always speak the truth, trustworthy. Again, many meanings here, but for just for our purposes, we just stick with the basic: to be truthful. Okay, to be honest, to always speak the truth. Good. Sadiq is the one who is doing the action. So, and then we always hear names Sadiq for people, and we hear Shakir. So these are also the names that it's placed on people. Okay, Usduq, meaning to be thankful. Sorry, not thankful, truthful. Be honest, be truthful. So that's what that means. Yasduqu, this is he is truthful. And then past tense, sadaqa, he was truthful. I'm sorry, my writing is getting worse at the end because the angle is so bad I can't reach the bottom here. But anyways, let's repeat this. Sha'ara yash'uru, ush'ur, sha'ir, and then shu'ur, meaning to understand. And then we have shakara, yashkuru, ushkur, shakir, and then shukur. And we say that on daily basis. Hopefully we say this on daily basis. Shuk, shukran, yeah, when we always say that. This also means to say thank you, but it also means to be grateful and be thankful. So if something good is happening to you, and regardless of good or bad, we always say shukr, in any conditions that we have. So, and then we have sadaqa, yasduqu, usduq, sadiq, and then sidq. Next word we have is abada. Abada. Ya'budu. Ya'budu. U'bud. U'bud. Abid. And then ibadah. Okay. I think we're kind of familiar with this word. We should all be familiar with this word, meaning to worship, to serve. Serve. And then there's another meaning that we come across, slave. So that's another also. But here, ibadah, it actually means the actual fa'il here means to worship. Okay, abid is the one who is doing the worshiping. And then u'bud, worship. Command. Ya'budu, he worships. And then the past tense, abada, he worshipped. Okay. Next word we have is fasaqa. Fasaqa. Yafsuqu. Yafsuqu. Ufsuq. Fasiq. And then fisq is the verb. Okay. So this means several meanings here. This is to transgress. It means to be wicked, to corrupt, to cause corruption, to go off the path, astray, go astray. So there's a lot of meaning for fisq. And then fasiq is the one who is doing the action of fisq. Okay, so if someone is doing bad things, causing corruption and spreading evil or backbiting and all of the stuff, so that person will be called, he's a he or she, that person is a fasiq, because that's what they're that's what they're doing. Okay, so this is the command to be bad or wicked or transgress. Yafsuqu, he transgresses. Let's just use that one. And then fasaqa, he transgressed. Okay, and we have a space for one more here, and the word is qatala. Qatala, yaqtulu, yaqtulu, uqtul, and then qatil, and then we have qatl. Okay. All right. So this means to kill, to slay. Okay, to kill, slay. And of course, qatil is the one who is committing the action. So if someone kills someone, so that person is called qatil because he's the one who did the action. Uqtul, this is command, kill. Yaqtulu means he kills. And then qatala, he killed. Okay. All right, we will be back with the clean board. All right, I thought I was going to continue with this session, but I just realized that my battery is very low on my phone, so I'm going to have to end this class here, inshallah, and then we will move on to the second part of this, which will be 30B, and then we will finish the rest of the verbs, inshallah. So until next video, Assalamu alaikum.